Yeah, it is another episode of the Autumn Windbags. RJ Clifford flying solo today because we've got some breaking news. Remember when all y'all were crying and complaining that the Raiders didn't make any moves in the first 50 hours of free agency? Well, they made a move. Tom Pelissero put on Twitter about an hour ago. Four-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Chandler Jones is finalizing a deal with the Raiders per sources. Expect this deal to come in around $17 million a year. Big money for Chandler Jones and a big get for the new regime in Las Vegas. So when we're going through all the things that we need, all the positions and players that we need, we're thinking tackle, we need guard, we need cornerback, safety, wide receiver. No one was talking edge rusher. Nobody was saying, oh man, you know what the Raiders really need right now? You know where they're really lacking? Edge rusher. It's got Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby. So for about 20 seconds, we had the greatest pass rush in the NFL with Chandler Jones, Yannick Ngakoue, and Max Crosby. Then, lo and behold, minutes later, we find out the next big move. Sources by Ian Rappaport says Raiders pass rusher Yannick Ngakoue is expected to be traded to the Colts in a deal that includes cornerback Rock Ya-Sin. So this all happened within minutes of each other. Right. So really, really big news. Massive changes going on with the Raiders. Again, they didn't do a whole lot to start, but now they've started hot. Right. It's all the devil's going to be all in the details for me. So the trade for killed another mosquito live on air. Bam. That's how jacked we are. So first off, the AFC West just keeps reloading and getting better and better and better and better, right? Every single team in the AFC West has a duo of great pass rushers. Every single team in the AFC West has a great quarterback. How bad does it suck being a quarterback in the AFC West? You're competing against three guys that are all awesome, and you're going against some of the best pass rushers in the world. That's gotta suck. I mean, you're making good money and you're a quarterback in the NFL, so no tears for you. But my first thought was edge rusher for a cornerback. Yannick Ngakoue for Rock Ya-Sin. And I'm thinking to myself, edge rushers are worth 10 times as much as corners in the NFL. Edge rushers are gold. They are platinum. Outside, after quarterback, it's either left tackle or edge rusher. It's either after quarterback, it's either the guy that protects the quarterback or the guy that gets after the quarterback, right? Those are the three most valuable positions in football. And we traded a guy who had 10 sacks last season for a guy who played corner and didn't even start every single game. Then I realized this is a cap move. Yannick Ngakoue is still owed something like $11 million or something next season, right? And Rock Ya-Sin is only due $2.5 million. So we got another young DB. We needed to address cornerback desperately, right? Because it's, we're most likely losing some good guys to Gus Bradley. And so I'm thinking to myself, so it's all right, we got another young guy. Now all it does is tell me we need another veteran in there at corner, right? Like a Stephen Gilmore, Tyrann Mathieu, something like that. Rock Ya-Sin's, first off, amazing name. How about him? How about just the great names on the Raiders these days, right? Alex Leatherwood, Divine Diablo, Rock Ya-Sin. Oh, these great names. Amazing names. So we got him. Our defensive backroom, like I said, is just getting younger and younger and younger, which can be good, right? Longevity, quick. But it just proves that we need another veteran kind of DB back there to kind of be the general for these young dudes. But it's a cap move, right? We're saving like $10 million on this swap, and then we pick up Chandler Jones. So this is how good Chandler is. Look at these numbers. Chandler Jones has 7 seasons with 10 plus sacks. Only players with more sacks since 1982, and you see them. Just insane Hall of Famers, right? Bruce Smith, Reggie White, Kevin Green, Julius Peppers, right? So he's in that same echelon. Now, again, the devil's going to be in the details. What are we paying Chandler? What are we going to be paying Chandler Jones? They're kind of guessing around like a $15 to $17 million a year guy. So not cheap, a little bit more than Yannick Ngakoue. But this is the thing. Value-wise, what we paid for Yannick, we're going to get more of. Even if we pay him, $5 million more, we're going to get more out of him. So with Yannick, he was a one-trick pony. And but it's hard to blame him because he was brought in to be a one-trick pony. He literally was just a guy who went after the quarterback. That's it. That's all he did. And he did it well. He had 10 sacks last season, right? But he had 10 sacks and only 28 total tackles. That's crazy. That's nuts. He had less than 3 times. He had more than a third sacks than total tackles. But that's what the Raiders were desperate for, right? 2 seasons ago, we were last in league in getting to the quarterback. So we got a guy that's literally all he does. Great. So he's doing what he was expected to do. And that's why I think he's going to the Colts, because he fits into Gus Bradley's system, right? When he just needs his edge rushers, just go after the quarterback. We're not going to blitz. We're not going to pressure. I'm just dependent on you guys to put your fingers in the dirt and then get the jersey of the quarterback dirty. That's it. That's all I had to do. Chandler Jones does everything. He goes after the quarterback. He run blocks. He's better in a 3-4 because he plays off the ball a lot more than Yannick did. But it's not like Yannick was a bad deal for the Raiders last season, right? I mean, we ended up paying him $13 million for 1 season. Only a $5 million cap hit. He'll be $8 million in dead money this season. So that was a good investment for 10 sacks. But there's also a reason why Yannick Ngakoue is on his 5th team since the start of the 2020 season. 5th team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teams since the start of the 2020 season. And it's because he's such a great stat guy, but you find out he can't do that much. Like, I was ecstatic when we got Yannick Ngakoue last season. It's like, oh, right, a guy that consistently gets the quarterback, still young, good locker room guy, works hard. B.D. Williams of Tape Don't Lie did a really good job of documenting, like, yeah, he gets these sacks, but when he's not getting the sack, he's basically useless. He takes plays off. He disappears in big spots. You can't count on him to stop the run. That's just all he does. And if you're in a scheme that's all you want, like he's mastered being really, really good at the one thing that gets you paid the most. He's mastered it, and that's how he's getting all this money. And great for him. But if you need more, especially in a 3-4, we only got 3 down linemen, like, you need more out of these guys than just getting to the quarterback. And Patrick Graham, our new defensive coordinator, he's going to be a little bit more creative than Gus Bradley. Literally everyone's more creative than Gus Bradley, right? So I understand this move. As far as like who won, it's kind of like they both kind of got what they wanted out of this, right? Gus Bradley got a guy that can rush the quarterback. He desperately needs that for his system to work. And Raiders got another young corner, and the Raiders shed some salary cap because they're getting a much cheaper player. So they'll take $8 million in dead money next season, but they're saving some cash. And then they upgrade with Chandler Jones. So big move by the Raiders today. We'll get to some comments. Let's see what Dominic 5. This definitely wasn't a need. Yeah, it was weird, right? We're talking about all these things we need, and then they do this move. But it got us a corner, and I'm assuming we got a defensive end that fits Patrick Graham's system more, right? I think that's what they were looking at, right? Yeah, it's a nuclear arms race in the AFC West right now. It just keeps getting better and better everywhere, right? Quarterback and the 2 most important spots, right? Quarterback and edge rusher. It just keeps getting better and better. Koji, yeah, Russ was thinking, I thought I got away from this guy. I saw that. I don't know the stat off the top of my head, but I saw it. I think Chandler Jones has sacked Russell Wilson more than any active player has sacked any active quarterback, which is great, right? If you got him figured out. Now, a lot of it's just, they play each other all the time, right? In the NFC West, and it's just time. But also, guys figure guys out. They're both the same age. They've seen each other a lot. Some players figure out other players, and you learn their tendencies and things like that. I'm hoping that's what happened with Chandler. Humble, that makes sense. Then cut $11 million for Yannick. Yeah, cutting $11 million for Yannick. That's it. Hefe KC guys trolling these Raider shows. Who won, Colts or Raiders? Like I said, both teams got scheme fit. And it's hard to judge us in a bubble because it came with Chandler Jones, right? Like we weren't going to make this move if we weren't getting Chandler Jones. So they're getting a young, good sack total guy that does nothing else. and we're getting a younger, much, much cheaper, much, much less expensive position at cornerback, but we're saving all that cap space. That's a cop-out answer, but I think both teams got what they wanted, more or less. Gowareb. Why does it seem like the good teams have monopoly money and can keep spending, and the Raiders are like almost broke? Well, first off, when you look at like the Chargers, they're on a rookie quarterback deal. You look at the Bengals, they're on a rookie quarterback deal. You look at the Jaguars, on a rookie quarterback deal. That insanely alters the landscape of the economics of your team, like to the nth degree. Like Justin Herbert is going to get like $50-60 million a year when he signs his deal. It's going to be nuts, right? Joe Burrow is going to get the same thing, $50-60 million when they do that deal. All those expensive luxury items you got on your D-line, Chargers, they gone. You're not going to be able to afford them. And we still got to figure out what we're doing with Derek Carr, right? I would almost be concerned if we were spending huge money on a bunch of players right now, because that would tell me, what are we doing with Derek? Because he's going to need his, $30, $35, $40 million or whatever next season, right? But what also tells me too is like they're keeping room for next season, because Max Crosby's deal, he's only got like a $6 million cap hit next season, right? Then it's like 24, 25, 26 after that, but really tiny cap hit next season. So they're ready to make some moves now. Like they structured their contract to be able to load up some dudes for next season. Let's not forget about Malcolm Kuntz right now. Yeah. Well, that's what I kind of thought was Kuntz would rotate more with Ngakoue, because like I said, Ngakoue just takes plays off and he's basically useless against the run. And so you get Kuntz in there, getting reps, getting better, letting Ngakoue have fresh legs, and then Kuntz in there. So again, Chandler Jones is 32. He's going to need some fresh legs to back him up, right? So like it's still kind of the same thing, right? Chandler's better. You want him on the field more. You want him there on all 3 downs, but Kuntz can get into that rotation, right? And Fuego RJ, big deal Raiders making big deals. Jones, Yasin, and D-tackle. Yeah, D-tackle would be nice. Green Bay was $40 million over the camp. They signed Roger Smith. Franchise Adams signed Alexander Howe. So I'm not a capologist, right? But you can kick the can down the road over and over and over again. And you can do it without any need for the players to say anything. Like if a player's owed $40 million next season, you can divvy up, you can extend years, like void years to the contract and distribute that cap out there, right? If you're in a win, now it's always going to come home to roost. You're always eventually going to have to owe it. But this is just like the Saints were doing a couple seasons ago, where they're in win now mode, right? Drew Brees was like, getting older, almost done. He has all these expensive players. Let's leverage the future for the now, right? Let's spend all this money now. We'll be in cap problems later after we win our Super Bowl. Okay. So it can be done, but you eventually have to pay the piper, right? You're seeing the Chiefs right now shedding players for cap space, right? It happens, right? And that's what the Green Bay Packers are in, right? They're a win now, right? They just made Aaron Rodgers the most expensive, highest paid quarterback ever, and they, the franchise Devontae Adams, and they're like, all right, all this money that we owe these guys, we're way over the cap. We're gonna push it forward. Again, I'm not a capologist. I can't tell you exactly the inner workings of it, but I know that a contract can be like, all right, we're just going to add void years and distribute it from then on out, right? How that exactly works, I'm going to need a NASA computer and, like all these like spreadsheets and shit to actually tell you exactly how it works. All I know is you can't extend it, but you eventually have to pay the Pied Piper, which is why I've been saying for so long how the Raiders are in a great position for sustained success. They've got a franchise quarterback. They've got a great young core of guys. They're just now starting to pay the next big dudes, and then the cycle continues, right? If you can draft well and you can sign the right guys, you can have sustained success, which is the optimal situation. I'm down to do what, the Packers are doing or what the Saints did if we're in a good position to do it, right? We got a quarterback who's awesome, but he's like 38. We've got all these expensive guys, but we're ready to win now. Okay, let's give away draft picks. Let's pay them all now, get over the cap, and let's win now. That's not the Raiders. Carr has feasibly 10 more years in him, at least like 5 good ones. Our defense, we got a core group of guys we're going to have to pay. We already paid Max, eventually Hunter, eventually Waller. But then we've got that great rookie class from last season. They're all on rookie contracts for the next couple of years. And then we'll pay some big guys to fill in now. And then those big guys that we're paying, they're gone. The rookies start coming in. Hopefully a new batch of good rookies come in, and we just start doing this. Rookies come in, pay the right ones, fill in what we need to, and they're gone. And we just keep doing that. Look at the Rams, but every player's a superstar. There's no way they paid all these players without cheating the cap. And wouldn't surprise me, the NFL wanted them in Super Bowl corrupt. I mean, the numbers are publicly out there. I can't tell you what they are. I can't translate them for you, but I know that they're out there. And if the Rams, who just won the Super Bowl and are kicking ass, there's 31 other teams with, nerds with calculators and pocket protectors figuring it out. Like, it's out there. It's public information, right? All right. So in short, we get Chandler Jones. We lose Yannick Ngakoue. We get Rocky Sin. Super sweet name. Still stoked on it. The AFC West keeps getting better and better. We save some money by moving Yannick. The Chandler Jones numbers, they're probably out by now. I just haven't seen them since I've been on air. All in all, I like the trade. I like Chandler Jones much better than Yannick, even though he's probably going to be a couple $1 million more a season. I was not going to be doing a show today. We recorded our main show last night, so the podcast and YouTube all came out today. I'm actually heading to London my flight leaves in 4 hours. I had the day off. I was at the park with my daughter when this news came out. It's like, drops her off at grandma's, driving home so I can do this quick show because of this blockbuster trade. So I'll be off for a while. I will have all my gear with me in case another blockbuster trade or something happens. We'll be able to keep in touch with you guys. One last thing before I let you go, and this is probably my favorite thing of the day. Josh Dubow from the Associated Press. He loves putting out stats that make the Raiders look terrible. We don't talk about him that much because I don't want to feed the troll, but it needed to be done here. This is the list of the top 10 biggest Raiders free agent additions under John Gruden. And they're all terrible, right? Trent Brown, 66 mil. Terrell Williams, 44 mil. LaMarcus Joyner, 42 mil. Didn't pan out. Corey Littleton, terrible. Carl Nassib, terrible. Whitehead, terrible. Mariota, hurt the whole time. Jordy Nelson, dead legs, right? And today, when it was announced that Carl Nassib was cut from the Raiders, I went in here and made my little edits and was like, look, they're all gone. And basically said, all right, Nick Wachowski is the last man standing. He's going to be gone. Little did I know that they were getting ready to trade Yannick Ngakoue, and Nick Wachowski, of the top 10 most expensive free agent acquisitions under John Gruden, Nick Wachowski's the last man standing. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that old Gwit that got relegated to special teams despite having a $21 million deal would be the last man standing from the John Gruden era? Not I. He could be gone now because I haven't been paying attention to Twitter in the last 20 minutes, but he's not going to last. But just think about that. We're going to do a video on John Gruden, the general manager, eventually. Look at his top 10 acquisitions. None of them are still with the team. Only one of them was a success, Yannick Ngakoue. And that was probably a Gus Bradley hire. Crazy. And yet we still won 10 games last season. We still went to the playoffs last season. And we're still in a great position to compete in the AFC this season, despite all those terrible signings. Just imagine when all that dead money and all that dead weight is off our roster and off our cap, how good we're going to be. There's a reason for optimism, boys. And until then, knock on wood if you're with me.